The stick wasn't just wood, it was his legs, his pride, his goddamn lifeline. And Karen, with her smug grin and $200 sunglasses, snatched it like it was a free sample at Costco. In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where gossip spread faster than wildfire, Karen Miller was a walking storm. She wasn't just the woman who yelled at baristas for weak foam or berated cashiers over expired coupons. No, Karen had elevated her chaos to performance art. Her latest act: stealing a walking stick from Tom Hargrove, a 64-year-old Vietnam vet who'd lost half his mobility to shrapnel in '72. The stick, carved from oak by his late brother, wasn't just a tool, it was a relic of love, a tether to a life he'd fought to keep. It happened outside the town's only diner, a greasy spoon called Mabel's. Tom, hunched but proud, was sipping coffee on the patio, his stick leaning against the table. Karen, fresh off a tirade about unhygienic outdoor seating, spotted the stick. To her, it wasn't a necessity, it was a prop, something to wave around for attention. "This looks like it belongs in a museum," she'd sneered, loud enough for the whole patio to hear. Before Tom could react, she'd grabbed it, twirling it like a baton, mocking his limp as she strutted to her SUV. Tom, voice shaking, called after her, "Ma'am, that's mine. I need it." Karen just laughed, tossing it in her back seat. "Finders keepers, old man," she said, peeling out. The town erupted. Willow Creek wasn't big, 200 souls, one stoplight, but it had a pulse. Tom was a quiet hero, the guy who'd coached Little League with a limp, who'd salute the flag at every 4th of July parade. Karen, meanwhile, was the town's self-appointed queen of complaints, her social media a shrine to outrage. Stealing Tom's stick wasn't just cruel, it was a declaration of war. By noon, the diner's patrons had spread the story, and by evening, it was on the local news. Karen, unfazed, posted a selfie with the stick, captioning it, "Vintage Vibes. Thrifted." The comments exploded, "That's Tom's stick, you monster. Give it back." She doubled down, claiming Tom looked fine without it. Tom, though, wasn't fine. Without his stick, he could barely cross his living room. His knees, scarred from decades of strain, buckled under his weight. He'd fall, curse, and drag himself up, refusing help from neighbors. "I don't want pity," he'd growl, but his eyes told a different story: humiliation, raw and deep. His daughter, Ellie, a nurse who lived an hour away, drove down in a fury. She confronted Karen at the grocery store, where Karen was arguing over a mispriced avocado. "You stole my dad's stick," Ellie said, voice low but shaking. Karen rolled her eyes. "He's milking it. I did him a favor, maybe he'll exercise now." Ellie's fist clenched, but she walked away. She knew Karen thrived on drama. Instead, she called the sheriff. The case landed in Judge Clara Thompson's courtroom, a no-nonsense chamber where Willow Creek's disputes were settled. Clara, a 50-year-old former prosecutor, had seen it all: petty theft, neighbor feuds, even a fight over a stolen lawn gnome. But this? This was personal. Clara had known Tom since she was a kid, he'd been her dad's fishing buddy. She'd also tangled with Karen before, over a lawsuit Karen filed against the town for insufficiently festive holiday decorations. Clara's gavel was itching to drop. Karen's defense was a masterclass in delusion. She claimed the stick was abandoned property, and that Tom was faking his disability for sympathy. She even brought a printout of his old Facebook photos, pointing to one where he stood unaided at a barbecue. "See? He's fine," she crowed. Tom, sitting across the courtroom, looked like he'd been punched. His hands shook as he explained the stick's history, how his brother, dead from cancer, had carved it during chemo, each notch a memory of their childhood. The room went silent. Even the bailiff blinked back tears. Clara's ruling was a bombshell. Karen would return the stick, of course. But that wasn't enough. "You've humiliated a man who served his country," Clara said, her voice steel. "You don't get to walk away with a slap on the wrist." Her sentence: Karen must walk with Tom, in public, every Saturday for 6 months. Side by side, down Main Street, from the diner to the library and back. No excuses. No replacements. The town would see her shame, and Tom would reclaim his dignity. Karen's jaw dropped. "This is outrageous," she shrieked. Clara leaned forward. "You wanted attention, Ms. Miller. Now you've got it." The first walk was a spectacle. Half the town showed up, phones out, whispering. Tom, stick in hand, moved slowly, his limp more pronounced than ever. Karen, in yoga pants and a forced smile, kept pace, her eyes darting like a trapped animal. Kids giggled. Old men shook their heads. A teenager yelled, "Nice stick, Karen," and the crowd laughed. Tom said nothing, just kept walking, his face a mix of pride and pain. Karen muttered apologies under her breath, but they felt hollow, like a script she'd rehearsed. By the third week, the crowds thinned, but the tension didn't. Karen's social media went silent. Tom's daughter posted a photo of him smiling, captioned, "Dad's back on his feet." But the story didn't end there. Karen, humiliated, started unraveling. She'd show up late, make excuses, claim migraines. Tom never complained, just walked, stick tapping the pavement, a metronome of resilience. One Saturday, Karen didn't show. Word spread, she'd left town, house for sale, SUV gone. Some said she moved to Florida, others to a cousin's in Ohio. Wherever she went, she left behind a town that wouldn't forget. Tom kept walking, alone now, but stronger. He'd nod at passers-by, even crack a joke. "Guess I'm the fastest cripple in Willow Creek," he'd say, chuckling. The bitter twist came months later. Ellie, cleaning out Tom's attic, found a box of his brother's things, letters, photos, and a second walking stick, identical to the first, carved with the same care. Tom hadn't mentioned it. Maybe he'd forgotten it was there. Maybe he hadn't wanted to win that way. But it sat there, untouched, a quiet reminder that some fights aren't about objects theory, about respect, about what's right. Tom never spoke of Karen again, but he'd pause sometimes, mid-step, and look at the stick in his hand, as if it carried more than his weight. Willow Creek moved on, but the story lingered, a cautionary tale etched into its streets. Karen's name became shorthand for selfishness, Tom's for grit. The diner put up a photo of Tom, stick raised like a flag, with a caption, "Walk tall." And every Saturday, rain or shine, Tom did. What do you think? Did Karen deserve her punishment, or was the judge too harsh? Share your thoughts on justice and accountability in a town like this.